Hey, RetconRaider here. Today's video is dedicated to the Raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible. With special thanks to Nine Knives, Revenant, Alois, Anerdinwarpaint, Dragon Matrix 7, Exsellsior, Gottlieb, Kazorm, Lima, Nathan Welch Jr., Tomasz Piątkowski, and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, let's get started. And welcome back to Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous. As we continue chipping away at our slowly dwindling to-do list for Canabras. I believe we've pretty much finished all the content for the outer city, so at this point we're just moving into the inner city. We do still have some stuff left to do here in the marketplace, but like I said last time, we'll hold off on that until we have a proper healer, such as the one we're about to go collect. Now, things may end up going sideways once we're actually in motion, but the general plan is to swing by the Arendae party house, take care of that, and then circle back around to the marketplace, see if we can knock out the rest of these encounters. That's the plan, but we'll see how it actually plays out. Alright, let's go crash a party. Arendae Party House. One of the richest and most distinguished citizens owns this house of endless revelry. The feasts held here have become legendary, and the toils of war seem to steer clear of this house, until the demons came knocking right on its door. Okay, looks like we've still got our long-term buffs running. Let's get some short-term buffs up before we
Tail is restless.
Before we trigger any grand battles.
Trust in yourself.
That'll have to do. We do want to save some stuff for the market. Oh, hi there.
I'm all ears.
A couple of dretches, nothing to worry about. Nice.
Into the fray.
Ooh, let's see if we can line up a slumber. Thank you, Ember.
You've crossed the wrong monster.
Sounds like the party's still going. That's a good sign. You know what? Let's get some more buffs going. I think it's pretty obvious at this point we'll have to rest once we're back at the marketplace. Yeah, that's a little better. What a splendid occasion, Count. And this new Numerian elixir is quite something. Oh, look. Such darling little... I smell beauty. Wonderful. Now brace yourself for the smell of your own blood, you ghastly eyesore. You know, I don't think I ever noticed that Darren fires off a bone shaker during that cutscene. That is not one of the spells on his starting spell list. Anyway, we're in for a bit of a fight here. Our biggest threats are the caster and that ferocious shear that's headed right for us. We'll have our melee guys engage the shear and focus ranged fire on the caster. Simple enough. Nice. That was a risky play, but it does seem to have worked out for us. Oh. Oh. That was that poor gal on the table. Sorry. I guess we'd better hedge our bets here.
You won't survive me.
Nice. Wow, we are mopping the floor with this guy. Sheer disappointment. Alright, let's have Seela hang back. She'll finish off the sleepy goat. And then we'll have everyone else move up on the caster. Nope. Well, at least the rest of the demons are keeping themselves busy. Bad for the bystanders, but good for us. Lovely. And that's the caster. Now we just need to mop up the rest of these guys. I am not eager to walk into that cloud.
The light take you!
Yeah, let's hang back. We've got a whole lot more fighting ahead of us, so might as well play it safe. Ah, there we go. Heads up. Thanks, guys. Well, I guess we'd better get in there. Come on, Arendae, focus. There must be a way out somewhere. Decimation. +1 cold iron bardish? Bardish? Inflicts 1 point of con damage on a confirmed crit. Meh. I mean, I could see that being useful for the right build, but for us, it's just 1900 gold.
A success worthy of praise.
A portrait of Galfrey Mendev, ruler of the kingdom and founder of all crusades into the world wound. Interesting.
It went splendidly.
The intricate patterns on the harp depict the stars, the moon, and butterflies, the hallmarks of the goddess Desna. Yep, that would be Arendae, one of our 3 missing Des Knights.
Greetings, valiant stranger who has just burst into my life. I am the master of this house, Count Daron Kale, myriad mellifluous monikers Arendae. No need to introduce yourself. I find remembering insignificant details, such as the name of passing acquaintances, such a bore.
Wow. Bona fide blue bloods and unparalleled aristocracy. All this makes me itch to do something really crass. Ooh, like blow my nose on the curtains.
What are you waiting for, my squamous squire? The curtains in this room are velvet, but we have some excellent silk ones with gold thread elsewhere in the house. Take your pick. My soft furnishings are yours to do with as you wish. I'm quite sick of the place, truly. I shall either sell it, or burn it to the ground and build a new mansion in its place. Now that we've finished with the niceties, tell me this. How did all those thrice-damned demons end up at my soiree?
Wow, must have been some party if you missed the whole demon invasion. Just look out the window. Discari's tearing the place up.
Oh, come. The party was deathly dull, rather like one of the prelate's interminable sermons. I really ought to be grateful to the demons for their intrusion. They certainly added a frisson to the proceedings.
Yeah, well, good news on that front too, I suppose. The, interminable sermons have been indefinitely cancelled.
It seems as though Discari's occasion was altogether more of a crush than mine, if you will pardon the pun.
I don't know if I would consider that a pun, but sure. The Count casts a look at the curtained window, and the light from the city's fires flickering between the gaps in the fabric. Gotta say, you're taking this pretty well.
I have no friends here whose untimely demise I would care to mourn. The only alarming thing is how easily all this happened. I don't care for the thought that demons could come calling at my door at any moment. And just think, everyone had so much faith in the ward stones gifted by Iomede's herald, and in the might of our tamed dragon. As if there had been no Dresden or a dozen other routes where the demons overcame every defense.
The Count falls silent and rubs his brow, looking fatigued. So tell me, Count, I know you're snooty and I know you're rich. Anything I'm missing?
As a child, I had my very own pony, but I always dreamed of having a lamb. I was never allowed one. Sheep were seen as peasant animals, utterly unsuitable for the scion of a noble line. The trauma haunts me to this day. I think of it every time I have roast lamb for dinner.
I'm sorry that happened to you. Such a sad story.
I had not even the slightest intention of upsetting such a lovely child.
I'm not lovely. Some people have even called me a scarecrow before.
That's patently absurd. Why, you can't possibly be a scarecrow with a crow following you around.
Man's got a point.
I'm sorry if I failed to sate your curiosity. I loathe talking about myself to people I don't know, even more to those I do know. The only thing worth knowing, aside from the fact that I am highborn and filthy rich, is that I dislike Puritans and demons in equal measure. Well, perhaps demons a tad more.
Yeah, I get that. Anyway, you are now safe. Congratulations. And I should stress that I don't normally work for free.
Of course, where are my manners? There. You can also poke about the house and claim whatever takes your fancy. Though I imagine some of you already had that in mind.
The Count briefly inspects his hand, then takes the ring with the largest gemstone, removes it, then tosses it to you.
I'm feeling very attacked right now.
Waldjeff said to no one in particular. Subtle, buddy. Very subtle. Well, Count, you're alive, and I got paid, so I think we're done. If you would like to continue being alive, I recommend heading to the Defender's Heart. The Crusaders there might be able to help you with that.
I thank you for the invitation, but I am not quite as desperate as I may seem. At times, it is better to be surrounded by the repugnant mugs of demons than the sour and dour physiognomies of Iomede's righteous paladins.
What about my physiognomy? Sour enough for his lordship? Don't worry, another few minutes with the dazzling Count here, and it'll sour like week-old milk.
Seela raises her sword with a flourish and uses its smooth surface as a mirror.
What's this? An attractive paladin with a sense of humor? You're a veritable walking scandal. Either way, my mansion is now safe. I have a pair of half-decent guards. I just need to drag them out of the storeroom and bring them to their senses. I ordered them to drink a love potion, you see? For reasons which seemed extremely witty at the time and in the state of inebriation I then found myself in. They can guard the house while the valorous paladins beat back the demon assault. They will beat them back, yes? As regards myself, I feel like stretching my legs. I know rudimentary divine spells. I am no friend to demons, and I elevate any society that I deign to grace with my presence. I shall accompany you, only for a short time, of course. I have no desire to remain at the vanguard for a protracted period. What say you, my ephemeral but highly diverting acquaintance? After all, Lord Descari spoiled my party. I now burn with the desire to spoil his.
The Count is silent for a moment, awaiting your response. I don't know, man. Guys, thoughts?
I don't like this guy much at all. Not even because of his personality, but just... I sense something dark about him.
I guess thumping him one next time he comes out with more aristocratic witterings is not allowed? All the more reason to take him with us. If we don't kill him, the demons surely will.
He has all these friends at his party, and he still looks so lonely. We can take him with us. Maybe it will make him feel better?
Don't ask me. Having him tag along would be like going for a nighttime stroll through the back alleys with a diamond tiara on your head. Even I don't like that kind of attention.
What? You're asking about whether to take this boy with you? The question lies outside the bounds of my interest. By the way, did you know that the young scions of noble families often sponsor the research of young scientists? What laudable passion for knowledge. True, the size of their donations bears a direct correlation to the hazardousness of the experiment being conducted.
Thank you, Nenio. I guess we'll just assume that's a vote in favor.
He doesn't look like a whiner, and he can hold his own, so he won't be dead weight.
Hey, Finian, I wasn't expecting you to talk. Anyway, that is majority votes in favor. And even if they weren't, I'm chaotic, so I would have just ignored them. Welcome aboard, Darren. For at least as long as you're useful and or paying us.
Capital. Good acquaintances that begin and end at just the right moment often leave the most pleasant memories. Wouldn't you say?
Sure, Darren. I do appreciate your efforts to immediately make this awkward. And given that Darren is a backline caster and a mandatory primary healer, I think we're going to have to swap out Nenio. I like her, but there's no doubt that she's definitely our weakest link right now. We'll check back in on her once she's got a couple more levels under her belt. All right, Darren, let's have a look at you, buddy. That's about how I remember him. He's actually got a higher strength than Nenio, so that will help our loot takeage slightly, up until we can get our hands on a proper bag of holding. And as a single-class Oracle with the Life Mystery, he is definitely the best potential healer in the game. There's one more we haven't met yet, but he has some issues with his build, at least in my eyes. I mean, you can work around that stuff, but I feel like Darren is more our style for this particular run. We do have to remember, though, that he is staggered the first turn of every combat. Though I think we can actually work around that with freedom of action. I'll have to look into that. Alright, let's knock out that level up real quick. This is level 4, so it's really straightforward. We'll dump that new attribute point right into Charisma. Sometimes I faff about with the other attributes, but in this case, we just want more spell slots and better healing. As for skills, not a lot to say here. Most of these are going to be redundant. But we will stay on top of his world knowledge. He's never going to be great at it, but we do want him to be up to snuff as our eventual brewmaster. So maybe we'll bump up his intelligence at level 12. We can also bolster his skill with a select assortment of expensive magic items. In theory, we should be able to get him up above 20 pretty easily. And at that point, he'll be able to flawlessly brew potions of heal and potions of breath of life, which make for nice emergency gear. A nice stash of death ward and restoration will come in handy too. Yeah, I guess that'll do. As for spells, we'll go for good old Remove Paralysis. His primary focus will, of course, be curatives and healing. Lovely. Let's go wrangle up some bardic knowledge, shall we? Thank you, stranger. The girl does not look the least bit scared. Her cheeks are flushed, and her eyes are glittering. For saving us from the demons, and for your timely entrance. I swear, I don't know who has enraged me more today, the demons or the oh-so-affable master of this house. Yeah, what can you tell me about that guy? Kind of a tool, right? He said, just loudly enough to be sure that Darren overheard. Hey, might as well let the guy know what he's in for. About the Count? The girl's voice drops to a whisper. I've wanted to smash a jug over his head about 5 times today already. He just brings that feeling out in people. It's one of his many talents. Other than that, well, you've probably already heard about the Arendae family. All I can say is that the Count's servants flee this place like rats from a sinking ship. No one ever stays here long, even though he pays them extravagantly. I even heard one servant complain that he always felt uneasy in the Count's home, like someone is watching him. Unseen eyes staring at the back of his head, even if his back is to the wall, even if he turns around. I don't know if I believe all these tales, but I'm just telling you what I've heard. Yeah, that's the word on the street, too. The tiefling hunches his shoulders. This mansion, it's the tastiest morsel in the whole city. But all the thieves are afraid to even set foot on this street. Are you deliberately talking as if I'm not here? Excellent. Like any polite host, I shall return the favor, and act as if you're not here either. Thank you, Darren. You know, you are surprisingly affable. I do appreciate that. Alright, Aranka, your buddy Ilkis sent me to find you. This is my good deed for the day. Come on, let's get out of here. The young woman clasps her hands together. Ilkis is alive, and he's made a brilliant new friend. It's a shame it had to happen now, when the city is under siege by the demons. And those pig-headed inquisitors are pursuing us instead of doing something useful. You know what? We'll circle back around to that part, but how'd you end up here? Halrin's hounds found me and Wallflower, and they tried to capture us. I distracted them, then I lost them in the streets before charming my way into this party. Even if the Inquisitors saw where I went, they wouldn't have been allowed past the door. Halrin holds no sway among certain members of the aristocracy, so I picked a good place to lie low. That is, until the demons showed up. The girl shivers and wraps her arms around herself. Now that is more like it. So I have inadvertently been harboring a traitor wanted by the Canabras Inquisition? This day wasn't such a waste after all. That's right, Darren. So Aranka, where is, Wallflower, you said? Wallflower? No idea. If he knows about the demon attack, he won't just hide away. He'll go out and try to help people. If he doesn't know, well, you have no chance of finding him. He's a pretty skilled mage, but I doubt he'll risk using magic. He'll probably do something the Inquisitors won't expect. The girl becomes lost in thought for a moment. I know. I'll tie my shawl around your arm. Wallflower gave it to me. He'll spot it right away and know you're a friend. If I were you, I'd look for him in Canabras Market Square. Why, thank you. And that is awfully convenient, because that is exactly where we're headed next. So, what were you three trying to accomplish anyway? You know, you could have just been playing into the demon's hands. But it wasn't a demon trap, Aranka says forcefully. Then her voice softens and her expression turns pensive. You know, living next to the World Wound and seeing the powerlessness of the Crusaders, It's very hard. We've been trying to defeat the demons for 100 years now, and we have nothing to show for it. I think that Queen Galfrey and the other leaders think that we can defeat evil if we line up our soldiers in perfect columns and send them marching off with a stirring battle cry. We just need a few more soldiers, a little more discipline. But we've been marching for 100 years, and it's always one step forward, 2 steps back. They normally place these tooltips a bit more strategically. And while the soldiers are marching, people like Halrin are seizing power behind their backs. His fanaticism and cruelty were forged in the same furnace as the Crusaders' righteousness. We will never defeat the demons if we keep trying to march down this same path. We need to change track. To challenge our principles, trust our hearts and our friends, and not moldering doctrines. We need to listen to any entity that is willing to help us. My friends and I listened, and we trusted, and we tried to change something. At least we tried. Even though it didn't work out. Great idea. Marching in straight lines didn't work. So let's go attack the demons in a merry band of hopers and dreamers, brimming with enthusiasm and doing just whatever we feel like. When the demons see us coming, they'll die of hysterics, and our victory will be complete. Lan, you just described us. Naive children, that's what you are. But I admit, your words stir something in my soul. I wouldn't put you in charge of a military campaign, but I'd be proud to fight alongside you. I should mention you won't have to worry about Halrin anymore. I hear someone found him dead near a pit. Terrible, terrible shame. It is a shame it ended this way for him. Hopefully his successor will keep the Inquisitors in check. Yes, I'm sure that is a thing that will certainly happen. They do seem reasonable. So, Aranka, tell me about yourself. Oh, I'm Aranka, traveling bard and follower of Desna. Many of my fellow bards are rootless misfits who wander the world, unwilling or unable to live a normal life. For me, that's only partly true. I have a wonderful family. My mother, father, grandmother, and brother. Right now, they're far away, and I'm sure they miss me. But they have always supported me in my vocation, and they let me be free to roam. Because they know that I couldn't be happy while there was so much of the world I hadn't explored, and so many places where people might need my help. A bard. That's great. I love singing. Will you sing me a song? Aranka smiles. Sorry, I don't think this is a good time to sing a long, sweeping epic, but I will gladly sing for you some other time. All right, Aranka. Well, we're headed to market, so you'd best get somewhere safe. It looks like the Inquisitors aren't busting down the door just yet, and they're not hiding under the bed, so I think I'm safe for now. I'll be fine on my own. I'll go to our temple, to Ilkis. The Inquisitors must have searched there by now. They won't go back a second time. Hey, you do you. See you there. Good luck. May Desna be with you, stranger. Oh, I don't need Desna. I've got Kaz. Also, I guess technically Callistria, but she hasn't really stuck her nose in yet, has she? The Count is so gallant, so handsome, and most importantly, ever so rich. It's hard to imagine a more agreeable gentleman. You know what? Vex would not disagree. Arendae family ring. A ring engraved with the letters D and A, clearly belonging to Darren, Count Arendae. Scratches and chips can be seen in a few places on the ring's surface. Its owner has evidently not treated this expensive piece of jewelry with particular care. 1,000 gold. Not too shabby. Yoink. All right. Let's have a quick peek at our mobility score. Oh yeah, we're fine. Darren, I don't suppose these are your love-struck guards? You know what, don't answer that. Plausible deniability. I think we're just about done here. Let's park ourselves near the exit and hit the pause button real quick. I'll get Darren equipped and, get this taskbar cleaned up. This is a mess. After that, we'll head back to the market. We'll be right back. And we are back. Now, we do still have several locations in the inner city that we have yet to visit, but it would take us hours to actually get to any of those locations. Unfortunately, those chasms really slow you down. So instead, we'll just head straight back to the market. That is fairly close by. And while I don't think we're going to have time to do everything there, we'll do what we can today and then wrap things up next time. That should hopefully be more than enough to get us to level 5. After that, we'll head back to the Defender's Heart to do some respecking. We've got big plans for Vex. Alright, so at this point we've completed pretty much everything but the indoor areas and that southwest corner. So let's... Oh, hi there. Almost walked right by you. Hey, Wallflower. The eyes of a young lad peer out at you from under the massive helmet. At this proximity, it is obvious that his armor is ill-fitting and mismatched, and the helmet specifically is either very poorly made or a theater prop. Pardon me, I saw you with that shawl. Does this mean that you're a friend of Aranka's? What am I saying? Of course it does. So... Halran? The young man's speech is interrupted by the arrival of a new cast of characters. People in the robes of Iomede's Inquisitors appear from all sides, surrounding him. Adept Thall of the Temple of Desna, you are under arrest on suspicion of treason and aiding the demons. You have 1 minute to come quietly. Drag your feet and we'll count that as an attempt to resist justice. The youth's eyes go wide, and he says nothing, clearly not knowing what to do. Are you guys serious? The whole town's being burned down by demons, and you're doing stuff like this? On the contrary, now is the perfect time to catch the demons' accomplices, while they're overconfident and letting their masks slip. Wow, you guys are almost as bad as Halran. And we all know what happened to him. Oh, you don't? You don't know what happened to him? I suppose I could show you if you really wanted me to. We are following orders and acting for the good of the city. The troublemaker must be arrested. Well, we tried. Kinda. Darn. Guess we're killing more Inquisitors.
Cover me, all right?
Feel free to run at any time. Health is fine.
Out of my sight!
Oh yeah, these guys aren't even close to Halran's level.
The Inheritor, guide
Ow. Come on. I was just talking about how weak and feeble you are.
Endure this!
Tactical retreat. No.
Ow. Why did you just tank that 20 damage hit without a dent on your health bar? Okay, so now we can use some healing. Darren, you're up. Nice. Why don't you fall back, Waljeff? Alright, so we're fine. Sela, would you like to murder this sleeping Inquisitor for us? Hey, nicely done. You all saw it. This was clearly an internal matter for the Church of Iomedae. We were just innocent bystanders who got caught up in it. I think that's a couple thousand gold. Okay, Wallflower. Let's chat. The young man glances at the bodies of the Inquisitors, then turns around. Oh, Desna, why in doing what is right must we so often be forced to spill blood where it is not necessary? Can this really be the price of the true path and of freedom? I'm gonna say yes. Anyway, thank you. I'd have been done for without you. Yeah, well, don't beat yourself up. I think something like this was pretty much inevitable. Maybe, but if it wasn't for our stunt with the Wardstone, which we didn't even save. Anyway, I only have myself to blame. Now, if you don't mind, I'm going to go to the Temple of Desna. I want to be alone with the goddess and reflect on all that has happened. Well, I think that worked out just about as well as we could have hoped for. Though I do notice that half our party is now fatigued.
I will help where I can.
Alright, let's see what we can do to buy ourselves some time. Maybe eke out another encounter or two. This is why I try to save our lay on hands. Thanks for the lay, Sela. Moving on. Think we had a door around the corner to investigate?
Always be ready for the worst.
Roger, roger.
I'm here. Where else would I be?
Now what awaits us behind door number 1? Rats. This is actually a huge problem. Or maybe not. They don't appear to be doing damage to us. Did they change the way swarms work again? Well, okay then.
Wow. Hello there.
Darren, stay focused. Thanks, Lan. Come to think of it, I guess Kaz was pretty much born for this.
Into the fray!
Surrender, or else!
Make every strike count.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay. So they only injure you if they start their turn on you. Huh. That is a drastic change from what I remember them doing.
I will see to your demise. You crossed the wrong mongrel.
Well, that was an interesting fight. I'm not sure that worked out the way it was supposed to, but we'll just move on. +1 hide, no big deal. Ooh, and seasoned wings and thighs. Yes, please. An incomplete magic circle for a summoning ritual. I'm sure it was meant to summon something nice, right? Right? The red paint on the walls, the swarms of rats, all good omens. No, Ember, stop. Don't, come back.
It happens sometimes.
Clever mortals. I can't reach you from inside this circle. Oh, but you forgot something. There's nothing keeping me in here. Nothing at all. That's probably fine. We should really get going. Nice work, Ember. So we now have a rock on the loose. That's fun. Anyway, let's head over to the Church of Desna. Collect a reward for another job well done. I do notice that we're starting to lean perilously close towards chaotic evil, so I will see if we can balance the scales a bit. Behave slightly more altruistically. You know, I don't really feel like we've been all that evil. I mean, aside from killing the Inquisitors, what have we done? Demanded some rewards, threatened a couple of people. Freed that demon. Suggested killing Sister Charisme. Tricked Foul Snout into killing his poker buddies. But I mean, aside from all the murder and threats and extortion and, okay, fine, I can kind of see it. Hey guys, turns out I'm a monster. So how are you? Ilkis, Aranka, and Thall sit side by side, like sparrows on a tree branch. They seem happy, despite the chaos going on around them. If it isn't our rescuer, it's good that you've come. Sit with us. Sure, yeah, I'm having a bit of a moral crisis. I think I could, stand to sit down for a moment and, rethink my life. The adepts share a conspiratorial look. We decided to give you a gift, a special gift, one that we would never share with anyone except for the person who risked his life for ours, who didn't just take a stand against evil, but against injustice under the guise of the law. Our gift, Aranka cuts in, is a song. We call it Starward Gaze, and it comes to us from the true servants of Desna, from her domain in Elysium. This song can gift a soul with renewed vitality. Just listen. The girl sings the melody. Do I get a gift? Can I swap my song for something else? Say cash or even a snack of some kind? Paying no attention to Waljif's chatter, the girl continues to sing. Sure, why not? You repeat the melody, feeling it coming from somewhere within your heart. And then... when the music stops, Vex finds himself in a place that looks nothing like the ruins of Canabras. It all happens in the space of a blink. He closes his eyes in one world and reopens them on another one entirely. A delicate twilight envelops this new world, with streaks of moonlight breaking through the gloom. Vex is standing in a shallow stream of murmuring water, deep in a forest. There is no one else around. Garlands of unfamiliar climbing plants twine around the trunks of gigantic trees, and dangling from their branches are vines, woven into what look remarkably like swings. A carpet of fragrant grasses spreads out at the tree's roots, with islands of phosphorescent moss and lichen dotted here and there. Small, smooth stones with a strange, mirrored surface are scattered across the stream bed in which Vex is standing. The stones catch the light, shining down from the heavens, making them gleam silver and making the ordinary little brook look like a stream of darkness, carrying a sprinkling of stars through the night. Vex is sure that he has never been to this place before, and yet it all feels so familiar. It is the manifestation, not of dreams or fantasies, but of that special way of looking at the world that only children possess. When a glint of light reflected off a piece of glass becomes a fallen star, when an oddly shaped stone can be a remarkable artifact, and when every shadow or twist in a path promises mystery or an incredible adventure. A single glance into the forest stream brings this feeling rushing back. Realizing this, Vex clambers up the nearest tree to play on a vine swing. Look, I'm a halfling. Sometimes halflings just got a halfling. The stream of starstones babbles away below. The swings begin to gently move, arcing up and smoothly down again. What lies beyond the thrill that this simple pastime gives mortals? Is it the sensation of weightlessness, the hunger for freedom and flight? Whatever it may be, Vex quickly realizes that he is no longer alone. They come closer, not attempting to hide, stepping lightly on the mossy carpet, leaping from branch to branch or flitting through the air. The creatures are thoroughly bizarre, as though they were deliberately conceived to try the sanity of every taxonomist on the planet. One has the fluttering wings of a butterfly on its back, another has the tails of a dozen different animals, while a third boasts tresses of streaming water, hooves instead of feet, and springy clover growing all over its skin. "We have a visitor," exclaims one of the strange creatures, and it immediately pushes the swing, helping it pick up speed. "Who are you guys?" "We are Azatas, the children of freedom," says one of the creatures, carelessly swinging from the branches of a tree. "This forest is our home, for today. Tomorrow our home could be a lake 100 leagues to the south, or an underground cave in the azure ocean, or a castle of clouds that scatters in the dawn breeze." "Oh, Where exactly am I? Don't you know where you are? Asked the creature in amazement. There are plains of breathtaking beauty and plains of astonishing wonders. But only Elysium is woven from the cravings for beauty, from the belief in wonders. That is where you are, in the most peaceful, most wonderful corner of the plain of boundless freedom. Cool. And how did I get here? We don't know how you came to be here, says the creature with a dozen tails, smiling. Mortals rarely come to Elysium during their lifetime. But here you are, which means that something must have brought you. Something in your soul. If your soul did not harbor even the slightest spark of freedom, yearning, and compassion, you never would have found your way here. Now that you know the answers, tell us. What do you want? Gosh, normally I'd say gold and other things, but in light of recent self-reflection, I'd kind of like to just stay here. I can bring my cat, right? The creature with the butterfly wings, who has hitherto remained silent, gives the visitor a serious look and nods to itself. I smell the burning, blood, and tears of the place you have come from. It clings to you. Your soul yearns for beauty and freedom. That is good. But the souls meant for Elysium would never turn their back on suffering and strife. You must return to where you came from. For now, at least. But would you like to take something from this place as a memento? The question hangs in the air. And though the words that Vex utters next are merely words, not a spell or a military command, they seem to have equal bearing on destiny and life. Yeah, I think I'd like that. Not sure I deserve it, but we've all got to start somewhere. The Azatas draw closer. Take this memory with you. Take this light. Take the knowledge that any pebble struck by a moonbeam can be equal to any star. Take the understanding that you cannot fight evil with clever plans until you have conquered evil within your soul. And your soul cannot be cleansed of evil if it is not free. Take our song. Remember it, and it may help you. But only when you are true to that which brought you beneath this sky. Thanks. All three adepts look at you, wide-eyed. What just happened? For a second you were surrounded by light, and we heard music, like the music of Elysium itself. I was just there. I was speaking with Azatas. I think? The adepts exchange looks of astonishment. I swear it's a sign that Desna herself has turned her gaze upon you. You helped us and protected Wallflower from the Inquisitors, even though it wasn't your responsibility. The goddess couldn't fail to acknowledge such a noble soul. We might be getting a bit ahead of ourselves here. There are many powerful entities in Elysium besides Desna. But of course, there must be a reason for it. I am so glad we met you, friend. And not just because I'd be getting tortured by the Inquisitors right now if we hadn't. But also because you helped me overcome my doubts. We will always remember you, no matter what. Huh. And that nets us a Wand of Remove Disease. And yeah, we're getting up there. Almost level 5. I had another vision from our mysterious helper, but she said the same thing as before, about the attack on Canabris. Canabris, what has become of you? Plenty of Hulrun's Inquisitors are simply moldy old hypocrites who have no compassion for the suffering of others. Anyone with a heart couldn't do the things they do. Well, Maranka, Thall, Ilkis, it has been a genuine pleasure. I'm very glad I could help and balance the scales just slightly. And, of course, the reward didn't hurt either, but I'll pretend that was not the most important part. We've done some good work here today. Saved some people and killed a few others, but, you know, you can't stop an apocalypse without ending a few lives. I'm like 62% certain that's how the saying goes. Anyway, I feel like we're at a pretty good stopping point here. We might have to go ahead and set up camp. We're pretty worn. And obviously we've got some tough encounters ahead of us before we can finish clearing the market. But we'll worry about that next time. We'll just hit the pause button for now. I'll take stock of our current status and double check our to-do list. And we will pick up here next time as we hopefully finish clearing the market. And assuming we survive that, head back to the Defender's Heart to take care of our new level ups. See you then. Oh, and remember, although I do love playing Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous, you can find out more about the game by visiting the official website, the official social media feeds, or the official store pages. And if you'd like to help support the channel, then feel free to push the buttons that do the things, or maybe even check out the Patreon. Links are in the description.
Though I imagine some of you already had that in mind.